Good evening, welcome to tonight's council meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First thing I'll do is open up for public forum if there's anybody here wishing to address the council. Looking out in the gallery and seeing nobody, I'll go ahead and close the public forum and ask for agenda changes.
We have no changes to present from staff this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, in that case, I'll ask for the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, consent agenda is approved. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move right into new business. And the first item is the Siebert Estates final plat, and I believe we have Dan Garber here to speak on behalf of that. Is that correct?
Good evening, I'm Dan Garber with Garber Surveying in Hutchinson. And we presented the final plat for Siebert Estates to the Planning Commission last week, and they approved it. It's just a 3.83 acre parcel with a 40-foot strip that goes south to 10th Street. And that's what they're gonna use for access to get to their property. They had a track that went out to Halstead Road and sold off several pieces, but retained an easement, and a house got built really, really close to that easement. So they've worked out a different route in, and so it has access for sewer and water. And so I think they're ready to go whenever they can get their plat approved. I'll stand for any questions that you have.
For those of you, so your role as governing body on a plat is essentially accepting or acknowledging any public dedications of easements, reserves, or right-of-way. This is intended to essentially be a single-family lot in perpetuity, so there's not a lot of any of that that you would be acknowledging, but it's still a required process to get it filed with the Register of Deeds. So as Mr. Garber said, the property owner slash subdivision applicant is aware that they will be required to connect to city water and sewer at the closest mains that are available, and understand the other issues on that plat, like flood division, because the slough runs through the north part of it, but don't foresee that it would be any issue, and they do have access to 10th Street, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll motion to accept the public dedications of easements, reserves, and rights of way per the plat, the final plat of the Siebert Estates final plat, and the authorizations for the mayor to sign the plat document to be recorded with the Harvey County Register of Deeds.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the Siebert Estates final plat. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, that passes. Thanks for coming in tonight, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once that's signed, we can pick it up and take it for recording.
You didn't print that out for me, did you, Julie?
You gotta sign the fancy one.
Oh, okay.
We'll get it later.
I'm looking at it. It's right here. Next item under new business is the K-Camp insurance renewal. Ethan will let us know what's changed there.
Last year, we saw a cost just under $140,000 for our property and liability insurance renewal with K-Camp, and that was about a 26% increase. So we did shop out for property and liability insurance last year. K-Camp still came in at that cost as being our cheapest vendor. We've had a good working relationship with them for the past 3 years. This year, we only saw a 5.8% increase year to year. So that'll put us just under $148,000 for the city. Mainly what's driving our insurance costs going up is the same thing in the general markets. I'm sure you all are seeing it on the personal side. As the county valuations have raised, the properties become more valuable and therefore more expensive to insure. We do obviously still also see the constant trade out of equipment. So we're moving older equipment off, bringing new equipment on so that we see costs there. But K-Camp had originally told us to anticipate up to a 12%. So we were happy that we were able, when we saw a 5.8% increase in that year-to-year premium. And just want to thank the department heads for the work they do in keeping our overall claims down, and getting information we need when we do have claims, so that K-Camp gave us a very good renewal rate compared to what it could have been. So we would recommend approval of K-Camp for another year.
Mr. Mayor, I can do this one. So save Shauna's eyes a little bit there. I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the K-Camp and authorize payment of the invoice in the amount of $147,767 from the 2025 city budget.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to renew the K-Camp insurance policy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That carries. Next item is Resolution 2024, which is an update to our personnel policy. Imagine this is a housekeeping thing, isn't it, Ethan?
Yeah, we just, some changes, we review these throughout the year to make updates as needed. The major changes was just clarification on the pay plan and salary assignment. Still had some old language in there from when we weren't under the city manager form that, pushed certain responsibilities to the city council. Then classification on overtime and compensatory time for overtime work. We had not ever clarified that we offer overtime pay. This still had the language that just said we did comp time off, and we've changed that in several departments. Then incorporation of our existing on-call policy into a larger personnel policy document, and clarification on the eligibility for that on-call pay, recording time responsibilities of the employee and compensation. Incorporation of our existing direct deposit policy, again, just moving some of these policies that have been separate sheets of paper into that larger document. Then changes to the city holiday schedule and in-service day. I'll note no additional office closed days are stipulated there, but we did run into this year. We've always kind of used Veterans Day as our in-service day. Blue Cross Blue Shield now recognizes that as a holiday, so they did not want to come in and do our insurance presentation. So we need to probably move that to a different day rather than trying to take that on a holiday. So it just opens that basically up for kind of what we used to do, which is one morning we'll just close the office down. It'll be on a work day, and then we'll go back to observing Veterans Day as a holiday. And then incorporating the city's return to work policy as it relates to workers' compensation claims. That policy just stipulates that once, any injured employee would be put on modified duty, that the city has the right to find, even if it's not in the same department, work that corresponds to that. The benefit to us and to the employees is it gets them back on regular payroll as opposed to having them claim salary or lost time through the workers' comp insurance. So again, it's a policy we've always had, just putting it into our larger document. And then the newest section is adding a section regarding the use of artificial intelligence tools or technology. It's out there as far as the language models, ChatGPT. Definitely want to encourage our staff to use those if they can find efficiencies, but also want to make sure we're being very clear with what information should or should not be going into those systems. So this is the newest section of the personnel policies, if you will, that covers employees' responsibilities if they choose to utilize artificial intelligence and performance of their work. So I'll gladly answer any questions. I know it was a longer read for you all, but those are the highlights.
Have there been any issues with the AI that anybody's run into? It's just a
No.
standard procedure to put that in there. Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 2024-17, a resolution amending the personnel policies and guidelines of the city of Halstead, Kansas.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2024-17. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, that carries. Next item is the city cell phone stipend policy. Are you changing that, Ethan?
Yeah, we went little more laid out than our existing policy in terms of being very clear what would qualify an employee. We'll have two rates, which we've always had two rates. One for users who would be seen as heavy users. Those are going to be, your department heads. And then our frontline workers, which is more paying for, lesser rate, but still acknowledging that there will be times we'll need to rely on them to utilize their cell phone for potential business purposes. Clarifying, being transparent with the employees that there are, with changes in state laws, certain expectations if they do accept a cell phone stipend, letting them know that they can ask if they believe there's a business case for them to have a city-issued phone. We'll review those on a case-by-case basis. And the other large change is that top tier, moving that rate from $40 a month to $50, and that's just in response to reviewing what other cities around us are paying for their top tier cell phone stipend, and then the lower amount stays at the 25. So, and then adding an acknowledgement page to the existing policy that employees will actually sign off that they've read this and understand the responsibilities if they take a city stipend for their cell phone use.
Yeah, the school has a little bit different, they have a phone, an on-call phone. So you take your turn being the person who's on call.
Yep.
Kind of like doctors, but, the majority of a lot of our staff obviously here is emergency personnel. And so that wouldn't fly. Understandably, it wouldn't fly. But there are other ways people do it, so, yeah.
I guess
Hey, I don't find that unreasonable, $50.
Having been department head, I completely can tell you that it probably, I would guess, probably 95% of everything I got on my phone, and it was constant.
Yeah.
And especially in the particular department I was in was business related, whether it was 6 a.m. to
Yeah, you're
a lot
on
of
call
time-
24/7.
a lot of time
365.
late in the
That's-
evening, depending on what kind of calls we were on and that type of thing. So it's very, very much used, let's put it that way. So.
Okay. Did anybody else have any questions about that? Okay. Then I'll motion to approve the City of Halstead cell phone stipend policy.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the city cell phone stipend policy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That carries. Next item up for discussion is ordinance number 1344, and that's governing body compensation reimbursement. And Ethan put this on there. We have to review it every once in a while. And how many years has it been since there's been a change?
At least 30. And we didn't look back much farther than that.
Well, I don't think we could. We didn't have any records going back any further than that, did we?
Not electronically, and with it being end of year, I did not task Julie with actually reading physical minutes. Say, just looking for ordinances. So the big, basically what this addresses is current compensation level has been $50 for council members, $100 a month for the mayor, again, for 30-plus years. Looking to move those to $100 for city council and $150 per month for the mayor. And then also clarifying, because the existing code language is a little vague, that governing body members that do attend official business, training, conferences, directly related to their role as a governing body member can put in for reimbursement, subject to the same personnel policies that apply to normal. The existing code language kind of implies that you have to be on assignment from the city council, and we have never formally required, the other voting members to approve, like when Charlie went to league. That's something, if you guys have the time, we try and make that as easy as possible. So just clarifying that you are eligible for mileage, you are eligible for meals, whatever might come up. And then, moving that rate, which again, I know it sounds, and obviously would say you're doubling, but at the same time, this is not out of line with what other neighboring cities around us are paying for monthly stipends, so.
Good?
But you have to approve it if you
Have to
would like to.
approve it, okay.
You don't have to. It's up to you all to whether you approve that or not.
You want a pay raise?
All it takes is a motion and a second.
Well, in that case, if there's no other questions, I motion to approve ordinance number 1344, an ordinance setting the compensation of elected officials of the city of Halstead, Kansas pursuant to the Halstead City Code 1-210.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 1344. All in favor, say aye.
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 Pose same sign. God, know what we'll do with our newfound wealth.
No joke. I do. Pay taxes.
Yeah. Next item on the agenda is we need to set an active tax abatement review for a public hearing date. How many actives do we have? Because
Just one, and I believe it's last year, so.
okay.
And this is something we do per economic development policy, where the companies that receive those economic development tax incentives report back to you all their employment numbers. You know, basically, are they keeping with the spirit of the tax abatement as it was granted? We, under our policy, have to do that before February 1st. So we are recommending setting that public hearing date for January 27th. Which is your second meeting in January. And once you set that, Julie will reach out to that company and give them the due date to get that information into us, so you'll have it in the packet for that meeting.
Who is the active? Is it?
Martin.
It is Martin Machine. So I thought we might still have one open with leg, but we don't.
Yep.
You guys good with that date?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will motion to set a public hearing for review of active tax abatements in the city of Halstead on January 27th, 2025 at 7 PM.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to set the public hearing for tax abatements at the January 27th regular council meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. That one passes. Next, we have the 2025 League of Kansas Municipalities Statement of Municipal Policy.
This is a housekeeping issue, but with the kind of later start, we normally do it first meeting in January. We're asking to do it here at this last meeting in December. The link to the full statement, it's basically a policy document from the league. Their general mission is obviously advocating on behalf of all cities with the Kansas State Legislature. During the session that will start in January, you guys approving or supporting their 2025 Statement of Municipal Policy just gives staff the freedom to engage, to write testimony on behalf of the city of Halstead if we're contacted for things or legislation that potentially would have positive or detrimental effects, to state as long as we're in line with that overall Statement of Municipal Policy, clarifies so we don't have to wait for a council meeting or ask for your guys' permission to write those letters. Because sometimes those legislative turnarounds are pretty quick. We got to get testimony, within a few days of bills being introduced or having hearings. So this, again, just basically authorize staff or you all, if you would advocate or want to advocate to elected officials as well, to be able to do so. So.
Okay. Well, Mr. Mayor, I would motion for the city of Halstead to support the League of Kansas Municipalities, LKM, 2025 Statement of Municipal Policy and authorizations for governing body members or city staff to engage in activities related to the support of those policies and priorities as may be appropriate.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to support the League of Kansas Municipalities Statement of Municipal Policy. I get it all out. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. All right, that takes care of our new business agenda, and it moves on to our executive session of the agenda, and we do have one tonight, so as soon as Jim's ready, I'll take that motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Halstead City Council recess into executive session to discuss job performance of a city employee and maintain privacy rights, personnel matters of non-elected personnel, exemption KSA 754319B1 to include the city manager and to reconvene at 7:35.
No city attorney on this one? No. Okay.
A second?
Have a motion and a second to enter into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
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 Pose same sign. We are in executive session. We'll move to the back room, council.
10 minutes.
We are back from our, let me turn my mic on here. We are back from our executive session. Is there any action to be taken as a result, though?
No.
Hearing nothing from the council, we'll move on to the report section of the agenda, and we'll start with governing body comments. And tonight I'll start with you, Shauna.
I just want to say Merry Christmas. I hope everyone has a safe and enjoyable holiday, and Happy New Year.
Charlie.
Thank you. I've had several conversations the last few days about BES, and they've been very productive in my mind, and I appreciate that. And if someone wants to approach me about them, I'll be more than happy to talk to them about what I can. I'd like to express appreciation for the Halstead PD and their continued presence in the morning and the afternoon for our crossing school zones and crossing guard stuff, and it's just, people pay attention, they just do. Yeah, I would want to echo what Shauna said about Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I can't wait to wear my bibbed white overalls.
I'll go by just for that.
All right, Jim.
Ditto on the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and went to several of the ball games up at the school, and things look like they're going great there. So, yeah. So, just have a great holidays.
All right, I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And right after New Year, as you know, my birthday happens, and the girls in the front office always give me a heck of a time with these proclamations. So last year I delivered my personal proclamation. I'm going to do this every year for my birthday. So what this is the Bibbed Overall Day Proclamation for 2025. It's a celebration of your mayor's occasional fashion choice. Whereas we often celebrate our public works, fire, police, EMS, public employees, elected officials, nurses, doctors, and other professions, with little praise for the working men and women that built this country with the sweat of their brow and the strength of their backs. Whereas it is those people that I celebrate today with my Bibbed Overall Day Proclamation. If you don't have a pair, you should get some. Whereas they offer comfort with everyday wearability and durability, the true symbol of the working man or woman. Whereas the people I want to celebrate with my proclamation are electricians, plumbers, masons, iron workers, concrete finishers, HVAC technicians, farmers, ranchers, mechanics, machinists, miners, loggers, railroad workers, and the like. Whereas these folks with their unique skill sets keep this country running and provide the infrastructure to our homes and businesses in today's world we often take for granted. Whereas defined by Wikipedia, overalls or bibbed and brace overalls, also called dungarees in British English, are a type of garment used as a protective clothing when working. Whereas the garments are commonly referred to as a pair of overalls, by analogy with a pair of trousers. Whereas overalls were originally made of denim, but they can also be made of other materials such as corduroy, chino cloth, or leather. Whereas overalls were invented in the mid to late 1890s by Grace Howard and Jacob W. Davis at the Levi Strauss and Company, but they went through an evolution to reach their modern form. Whereas initially created to serve as protective clothing during physically demanding work, they have since become a fashion garment, and many high fashion brands have released their own spin on overalls. Whereas today, overalls can still be found in some workplaces while also being worn casually by all kinds of people, including mayors. Therefore, I, Dennis Travis, Mayor of the City of Halstead, proclaim January 3rd, 2025, my birthday, as Overall Day in Halstead, Kansas. And I encourage those that own this fine garment to proudly wear them this day. And if you don't own a pair, well, this just might be the excuse you've been needing to get a pair. So that's my proclamation for my birthday. I wish everybody, again, a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll turn it over to Ethan for his manager report.
Thank you. I do want to note, you have the copy of the treasurer's report and our budgeted fund summary there for November 30th. We opted not to do a financial report because we'll do an end-of-year preview at the next meeting. So those would probably largely be very similar. City had our final walkthrough with the contractor on the industrial park speculative building. The only remaining item for the building to be completely finished is the water and sewer hookups. there. It's all been run or stubbed in. This work, it will be completed by a contractor in January, but the city has issued the final payment to Prairie Builders for that final half of the project, as their portion of the work has been successfully completed. And we did already receive our additional funds from the state for that project, which was grant funded. About 60-40 split is what it ended up being. Staff has reached out to Votes Parga regarding some of the cracking that's been observed in a couple of the panels in the extension on Main Street. We will keep you all informed as to developments from those conversations. Staff also met with Harlan Foraker to discuss potential capital street projects for next year. Harlan's working up some cost estimates now on those projects, so we can discuss those at a future work session with you all. Staff did meet with our local FEMA recovery team and have begun working on filing our public assistance claim from the May 19th derecho event. This will be an ongoing process for about the next 60 days, and we have no exact timeline after we get that filing completed of when we would get final determination on any claim we make for public assistance. But again, we'll keep you apprised as that is an ongoing process. The audit team from Knudsen Monroe was on site to begin their preliminary data review and collection for the 2024 audit. They are planning to be back on site the third week of January to finish up the work in the field. And I just want to thank Julie and her team for their efforts in getting the auditors all their requested information, while also keeping up with their other work duties and year-end processes. Planning Commission held their third public meeting on the proposed battery energy storage system, or BESS, updates to the zoning regulations for the city. Their next meeting is scheduled for January 20th. Where they will continue discussion on those proposed regulations. I do not believe they are currently planning to do another public hearing at that meeting, but a reminder, those meetings are open to the public to attend and listen to the discussion. And all staff and departments continue working on year-end processes, such as submittal of final bills for payment from the current fiscal year, compilation of data for mandated reports, and then building out calendars for projects or equipment needs for the coming year. So just appreciates everyone's efforts as it's busy, very busy in some departments, getting everything ready for the transition from 2024 to 2025. And that is all I have this evening, unless there's any specific questions.
I've got one question. Since you're busy filing this paperwork with FEMA regarding the derecho, do you have a total dollar amount that the city spent on that storm?
Yeah, I wouldn't have it offhand, but we can
Okay.
definitely send that out to you all.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
What
Other than that, anybody else have any questions for Ethan? If not, that concludes our agenda for this evening, and I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mayor, I motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, council.